I was supposed to feel proud that day. After 4 years of working 2 jobs, surviving on ramen noodles and rejection emails, and crying myself to sleep over textbooks I barely understood, I had finally made it. I was graduating with honors. Not just the first in my family to finish college, but the first to do it without my dad. Well, until he showed up, uninvited, with her. My dad left when I was 16. One day he was tucking me into bed with princess kisses on my forehead, and the next he was in a new house with a new woman and a new life that didn't include me or my mom. He said it wasn't about me, that he loved me no matter what. But love doesn't disappear without explanation. Love doesn't ignore birthdays. Love doesn't send money instead of showing up. I didn't hear from him for almost 2 years. Not until I got accepted into college. Suddenly, he wanted to rebuild. Suddenly, he was proud of me. Suddenly, he was just busy before, but now wanted a real connection. I was cautious, but hopeful. So I let him back in. Texts here and there. A few video calls. A birthday lunch that ended with him saying, "I'm sorry for the past, but let's move forward." And then, he went quiet again. For 6 months this time. By the time graduation came, I'd stopped expecting anything. My mom, my best friend Talia, and my Uncle Dave were all I needed. Or so I thought. I spotted him from across the ceremony lawn. Sharp suit. New watch. Smiling like nothing had happened. Beside him stood Marissa, his new wife. The woman he left my mom for. The one he told me wasn't the reason, even though their wedding was barely 6 months after the divorce. I froze when I saw her holding up a phone, recording as if this was her daughter's moment too. And then, he walked toward me, smiling, hands out, like we were family. "You look beautiful," he said, hugging me before I could react. I didn't hug back. "What are you doing here?" I asked, heart pounding. "I came to support you. I'm your father." That word, father, hit differently when it came from someone who forgot how to be one. "I didn't invite you." He sighed, like I was being unreasonable. "You don't mean that. This is your big day. Don't make it messy." Messy. As if he hadn't made my whole teenage life a disaster. Before I could reply, they called my name. I walked across the stage with my head high, but inside, I was burning. After the ceremony, I tried to slip away, but he followed me, cornered me behind the student center. "I just want one photo with you," he said. "I don't." Marissa stepped in then. "Come on, sweetheart. He's just trying." That's when something inside me snapped. He tried to erase me, not raise me. Her face hardened. "You don't have to be cruel." And my dad, he just stood there, letting her speak for him. Like always. "You're not the victim here," I whispered. And that's when he said it. Cold. Controlled. Like it was rehearsed. "You're not my daughter anymore." I blinked. Not because I didn't hear him, but because I did. And it felt like dying. My vision blurred. My legs went numb. I turned and walked away before I could collapse in front of them. My mom found me an hour later in the parking lot, still wearing my cap, holding my diploma like it was made of glass. We didn't talk about what happened. She just drove me home and made pasta like she used to when I was little. But that night, around 11 p.m., I got a message from Marissa. What he said was unforgivable. "But you need to know something. Can we talk? It's about your father. And it's serious." I stared at the screen for minutes. I almost blocked her. Almost threw the phone across the room. But something about that last sentence. "It's about your father. And it's serious." I responded. "What do you mean?" She replied almost instantly. "I can't say here. Meet me tomorrow. 9 a.m. My office. Come alone. Please." I didn't sleep. I replayed every memory of my dad I had. The bedtime stories. The pancakes on Saturdays. The way he used to call me Bean. And then, how he stopped. The next morning, I stood outside her office building. My palms were sweating. My stomach felt like it was folded in half. I was about to turn around, but the elevator dinged. She stepped out. No makeup. No jewelry. She looked scared. "Come in," she said quietly. Inside, she locked the door behind us. And then she pulled out a folder from her bag. Your dad didn't want me to say anything, she said. But he's in trouble. And you might be the only one who can fix this. Because he's been using your name. I didn't understand at first. Using my name? Marissa slid the folder toward me. Her hands were shaking. Inside were documents, all with my name on them. Credit applications, rental agreements, even a small business loan. All opened and defaulted on. My name, my social security number, my future already wrecked. What is this? I asked, my voice cracking. She looked at me, finally meeting my eyes. It started 2 years ago, she said, when things with his business went bad. I blinked. Business? What business? He never told you? I shook my head. Of course he didn't. Apparently, after he left me and my mom, he tried to start his own logistics company. Bought trucks. Hired drivers. Took out loans. And then it tanked. According to Marissa, he was desperate to keep up appearances. The clothes, the car, the house, it's all a front, she whispered. He's drowning in debt. And then he said he could use your name just for a short while. That it wouldn't hurt anything. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This man, the one who left me, ignored me, called me not his daughter, had been signing my name while I was fighting to afford textbooks. He forged everything, she continued. Your signature, your ID. I didn't know until last month when a creditor called the house asking for you. I felt like I was going to throw up. I thought he loved me, she said bitterly. But when I confronted him, he told me to stay out of it. Said you deserved it for being disrespectful. I stood up. I need to report this. Right now. Marissa nodded. I already contacted a lawyer. But there's more. I turned slowly. She hesitated. Then said, he's planning something worse. And it involves your mom. I couldn't breathe. My heart started racing. What does that mean? I think he's trying to transfer your mom's house into his name. To liquidate it. I stared at her. That house is paid off. My mom's name is on that deed. He has no rights to it. Marissa pulled out another paper. A scanned form. At the bottom, I saw it. My mother's signature. Except it wasn't her signature. It looked forged. He used an old copy of your mom's ID and a fake notary stamp, Marissa whispered. He's moving fast. If you don't stop it, the house could be gone in weeks. I left the office in a daze. I didn't cry. Not then. Not yet. It wasn't until I got home and saw my mom making tea like nothing was wrong that the tears finally came. I sat her down and told her everything. The accounts. The forgery. The house. She listened without interrupting. Her hands trembled around the teacup. Then she said, quietly, I knew he'd hurt me. I never thought he'd try to erase our daughter. That night, we filed a police report. The officer said identity theft investigations take time. Time we didn't have. So we got a lawyer, filed a fraud alert, froze my credit, hired a notary specialist to verify the signatures. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought he'd run once he realized we were fighting back. But then, I got a letter. No envelope. Just slipped under our front door sometime in the early morning. 1 page. Typed. It said, you've made a mistake. You should have stayed quiet. You think this ends here? Ask Marissa about what happened in 2019. She knows why I left. There was no signature, but I knew it was from him. And I knew the message wasn't about fear. It was about control. I called Marissa the moment the sun came up. When she answered, I didn't say hello. I just asked, what happened in 2019? There was a pause. Then she whispered, you need to come back to my office. And bring your mom. There's something we've been hiding. And if he told you to ask, it means he's getting desperate. The truth about 2019 will change everything she thought she knew about her father and her mother. Marissa didn't meet us in her office this time. She asked us to meet at her home. Private. Quiet. Where no one would overhear what she was about to say. My mom and I sat stiffly on her living room couch, every breath heavy with dread. She brought out a small black file box and set it on the coffee table. "I should have told you both sooner," she said, eyes red, voice small. But I was scared. And honestly, I didn't think it was my place. I glanced at my mom. She looked like she already knew what was coming. Or maybe she feared she did. Marissa opened the box and pulled out a thick manila envelope labeled 2019 Confidential. Inside were court documents, bank statements, and a letter. My name wasn't on them. My mom's was. "After your father left, he started pushing me to invest in a real estate deal," Marissa began. "He said your mom had some property in her name from her father. He wanted me to pressure her into releasing the title, quietly." My mom stiffened. "That was my dad's farmland. I never gave up those rights." Marissa nodded. "You didn't, but someone forged your consent. Used a power of attorney form signed under your name. The deal went through, but it fell apart, and the property was lost in foreclosure." I gasped. "You're telling me he stole land from my mother and used it in a fake investment?" Marissa nodded. "It nearly cost me everything. That was the first time I saw who he really was. But by then, I was pregnant." Silence. My mom's eyes narrowed. "Wait, what?" Marissa took a deep breath. "I lost the baby. Miscarried at 5 months. And when I broke down, your father said, 'At least now we don't have to co-parent anything.' My heart shattered in real time. How had I ever wanted his approval? His presence? He wasn't just manipulative. He was heartless." "I stayed," she said, crying now, "because I thought if I left, he'd ruin me like he ruined you." My mom reached over and placed a hand on hers. It was the first time I saw them as two women broken by the same man. We spent the next hour documenting everything: the property, the power of attorney, the forged forms. But something still felt off. "Why bring all this up now?" I asked. Marissa hesitated. "Because I think he's planning to vanish." She showed us a recent withdrawal from their joint account. $47,000. Gone in a day. No explanation. He started selling things quietly. Watches, equipment, stocks. "I think he's going off the grid." My mom nodded. "He's getting rid of the evidence." "I also found this," Marissa added, sliding over a torn piece of notebook paper. Written on it in his handwriting, "Destroy everything with her name on it." No context. No her defined. But we knew. We left Marissa's house shaken and silent. When we got home, my mom locked every drawer in the house and double-checked every document. Wills, deeds, IDs. We even backed up our laptops and phones. The next morning, we went to the courthouse to request a restraining order. The clerk took our documents, nodded slowly, and said, "You should move quickly. He already pulled some records 2 weeks ago under your daughter's name." That night, around 2 a.m., I was lying in bed when I heard something. A soft ping. My phone. One message. From a blocked number. It read, "You just couldn't keep your mouth shut." Attached was a photo of me, taken outside the courthouse. I had a coffee in hand, head down, walking next to my mom. Someone had followed me. I ran to the window, looked outside. No car, no movement, just the hum of streetlights. I called Marissa. She didn't answer. I called again. On the third ring, she picked up. Her voice was shaky. "I got the same message," she whispered. "And one more thing." Pause. "He knows I talked. He said if I don't fix it, he'll do to me what he did in 2019. "What does that mean?" "I don't know," she said, "but I'm scared." The next day, Marissa didn't show up to work. Her phone went straight to voicemail. By noon, I went to her house. The blinds were shut. Mail stacked up. Car gone. She was just gone. I called the police to file a welfare check. When they arrived, they found no sign of break-in. But in the kitchen, on the counter, was an envelope, labeled, "For her." They handed it to me. Inside was a USB drive, and a note written in sharp block letters. "Everything you think you know about your dad? You're wrong. This isn't just about lies. This is about someone he hurt. And what he's trying to hide involves more than one family. What's on the USB drive will finally reveal the man her father really is. But is it already too late to stop what's coming? I held the USB drive in my hands like it was a grenade. Small, silent, but full of damage I couldn't yet measure. The note said it would explain everything. But all I could think about was Marissa. She was gone. No goodbye. No message. Just vanished. And something in my gut told me she didn't leave willingly. I didn't plug the USB in at home. Instead, I went to my Uncle Dave's house. He's a retired cop, skeptical of everyone, paranoid about everything. But I needed that kind of person right now. He set up his old secure laptop, closed every curtain in the room, and said, "Let's see what your father's hiding." The USB had one folder, labeled Truth. Inside, 5 video files, 3 scanned documents, 1 voice memo. We started with the first video. It was a recording, taken on someone's phone, handheld and shaky. The footage showed my father, in an office, arguing, screaming, actually, with a man I didn't recognize. "You said you'd clean it up," my dad barked. The man, nervous, sweaty, just kept saying, "It wasn't supposed to happen like that." Then my dad said something that turned my stomach. "If she talks, we're done. We'll both go down." He didn't say a name, but then the camera turned slightly. In the reflection of a glass frame behind them, I saw her, Marissa. She was holding the camera. She was the one recording everything. We played the second video. More footage of my dad. Different day, different location. This time, he was meeting someone in a parking garage. The audio was rough, but clear enough to catch 3 words. Her name. Just sign it. Another forged document. Another deal in my name. But then the man hesitated and said, "You're sure she won't find out?" My father laughed. That cruel, slow, arrogant laugh I'd heard my whole childhood when he thought he had won. "She's too busy playing Daughter of the Year. She thinks college makes her untouchable." By the 3rd video, I was shaking. It showed the real reason Marissa had recorded all of this. She was trying to build a case. In the footage, she sat at her desk, speaking directly to the camera. "If you're watching this, I'm probably gone. Not dead, just silenced. He's dangerous. He's lied to everyone, including his daughter. And if she's still alive, she deserves to know." It wasn't just identity theft. It wasn't just fraud. He was involved in a real estate scam that led to someone's suicide. My mouth went dry. Her name was Christina Reyes. She lost her house because of a forged title. Same scam he tried on your mother. And after her suicide, he falsified an alibi and paid off a witness. It's all in the files. I looked at my uncle. His jaw was clenched so tight I thought his teeth might break. He clicked open the scanned documents. There it was. A forged deed. A falsified notary stamp. A death certificate. My father didn't just lie. He helped destroy someone. The last file was a voice memo. Marissa's voice again. To his daughter, "If you're still standing after this, I want you to know something. He was never proud of you. He envied you. Your strength. Your fire. You reminded him of what he couldn't control." He said once, "She only got that scholarship because she wanted to prove she didn't need me." He's terrified of women who don't need him. That's why he tried to erase you. I broke. Right there in my uncle's living room. I screamed. I cried. I collapsed. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was evil disguised as family. As fatherhood. As love. Everything he said, everything he built, it was fake. I had spent years trying to impress a man who saw me as a threat. We took the USB straight to the police. This time, they didn't treat it like another fraud case. They launched a formal investigation, tied the footage to the Reyes family, verified the forged deeds, opened a cold case inquiry into Christina's suicide. An arrest warrant was filed, but he was gone, disappeared, just like Marissa. No flights, no credit card trail, no known aliases, just gone. I thought that would be the end of the story, a messy, cruel, unresolved ending. But 2 weeks later, I received a letter. No return address. No name. Just a single line handwritten on plain paper. You were never supposed to find this. But if you keep digging, you'll end up just like her. And underneath it, a photo of me, sleeping, taken from inside my bedroom. This was supposed to be about closure, about reclaiming my name, my future, my life. But now I realize the nightmare isn't over. Because he's still out there, still watching, still trying to silence me. But I'm not afraid anymore. I have the truth. And I'm not backing down.